All right, Salaki, for that, so to start off with it, let's go to Genesis chapter 5, verse 22, where it first starts talking about Enoch. Start out Genesis chapter 5, verse 22. I go ahead and read it from your brother James.
Genesis 5:22. And Enoch walked with God after he begat Methuselah 300 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Enoch were 365 years.
Yeah, so he was on earth for 365 years. Continue.
And Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him.
So it says Enoch walked with God and was not, for God took him. And it's interesting, I want to bring out the Septuagint translation to it. It gives us a little bit more clarity, because it says that Enoch was not. So Genesis chapter 5, 24 in the Greek Septuagint says, give me a second to find it. Jeez, my app is unfreezing. The Septuagint in words is more identical to what it says in Hebrews 11. Okay, so I'm there then. There we are. Okay, so it says, and Enoch was well pleased to God and was not found, because God translated him. So in the Greek Septuagint, it gives us translated just like it does in Hebrews chapter 11. And then when you go to verse 25, it goes to Methuselah. Genesis chapter 5, verse 25. And Methuselah lived 167 years and begot Lamech. So there's not much written about Enoch after that passage. And Enoch was always like a mysterious person. He's one of the most enigmatical characters in the Bible, next to Melchizedek in Genesis. Because there's no events about his life, about his walk, and how he was able to leave a testimony that he was able to please the Most High and walked with God. So next, let's go to Hebrews 11, start at verse 5.
Hebrews 11, verse 5. By faith Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found, because God had translated him. For before his translation he had this testimony, that he pleased God.
So it says by faith Enoch was translated that he should not see death. So this makes it clear that Enoch did not die. Would you agree, Brother James?
I agree, yes.
It says Enoch was translated that he should not see death. So I have no idea why brothers are putting out videos saying that Enoch died, when it makes it clear that Most High translated Enoch so he would not see death. So Enoch has not died yet. If you teach he died, then you're going against the scriptures. So that's all it has about Enoch then in Hebrews 11, right?
Right.
So next, let's go to Jude 14. Yes, sir.
Jude 14 and 15. And Enoch also, the seventh from Adam, prophesied of these, saying, Behold, the Lord cometh with 10,000s of his saints, to execute judgment upon all, and to convince all that are ungodly among them of all their ungodly deeds, which they have ungodly committed, and of all their hard speeches which ungodly sinners have spoken against him.
So where did Jude get this prophecy from Enoch? Is it anywhere in Genesis?
From the book of Enoch.
From the book of Enoch, Khan. So they're showing us that the apostles and the writers of the scriptures went to other sources out of the canonized scriptures then. So if it's good enough for them to go to outside sources, then why can't we do that then? Right?
Right.
Because the Bible is a giant puzzle, and all the pieces are not necessarily in the canonized or so-called canonized scriptures. The Bible recommends, matter of fact, the Bible recommends for us to read other books outside the canonized scriptures. And so to learn more about Enoch's translation, we went out to go into these other sources to get a better picture and understanding of what happened at Enoch's translation. So to start off, go to Joshua chapter 10, verse 13.
Joshua chapter 10, verse 13. And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed, until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Jasher?
So this not written in the what?
Is not this written in the book of Jasher?
See, so the Bible's recommending us to go to another source to learn more about this event in the book of Jasher, which means upright. Continue, finish that out.
So the sun stood still in the midst of heaven, and hasted not to go down about a whole day.
Okay, so and we look at the book of Jasher, chapter 88, verse 64, and chapter 89, verse 8. It tells you the event then, so that's not a coincidence then. The author from Joshua said it's not found in the book of Jasher, and the book of Jasher has this event recorded. So that is not a coincidence. Next, let's go to 2 Samuel chapter 1, verse 18. All right, read it when you got it.
2 Samuel 1, verse 18. Also he bade them teach the children of Judah the use of the bow. Behold, it is written in the book of Jasher.
All right, so it's recommended us to go to the book of Jasher. Can we find that reference that the author Samuel's talking about? Go to Jasher chapter 56, verse 9. Let's see if we can find it in the book of Jasher. Jasher 56, verse 9. All right, go ahead and read.
Jasher 56, verse 9. Only teach your sons the bow and all the weapons of war, in order that they may fight the battles of their brother, who will rule over his enemies.
So isn't that a correct reference from the Bible then? Isn't it saying the same thing?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, so it's saying the same thing. And so the Bible's recommending us to look at the book of Jasher then. All right, and I got one more for you guys. Go to 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 8.
Second Timothy chapter 3, verse 8. Now Jannes and Jambres withstood Moses, so do these also resist the truth.
So it says, now Jannes and Jambres resist Moses. Is that what it says then?
Yes.
Okay, now question. Where in Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy can I read about Jannes and Jambres withstanding Moses? Where can I find that at? Do you know where's that?
I haven't seen it.
So where did Paul, I believe he's the author of 2 Timothy, where did he get this information from? Read that again.
Now as Jannes and Jambres withstood Moses, so do these also resist the truth. Men of corrupt minds reprobate concerning the faith.
So matter of fact, nowhere from Genesis to Revelations are you going to find any mention about Jannes and Jambres. So Paul had to go to another source to get that information. Do you think the book of Jasher might have it?
It could be.
All right, look up book of Jasher chapter 79, verse 27. So chapter 79, verse 27. See if we can find what Paul's talking about, or is he making this event up?
Jasher 79, verse 27.
Mm-hmm.
And when they had gone, Pharaoh sent for Balaam, the magician,
So Balaam is the Hebrew name for Balaam. Then. Continue.
and to Yanis and Yambres, his sons.
Who? Do I say those names again?
Yanis and Yambres.
So this is the got the Hebrew names in it. So instead of using J, because we know there's no J in the Hebrew alphabet, they got the names in Hebrew, which is Yanis and Yambres, which is the same names we read in read in 2 Timothy 3:8.
And to all the magicians and conjurers and counselors which belonged to the king, and they all came and sat before the king.
So this is talk about when Moses and Aaron was in Pharaoh's court. Then Pharaoh called his magicians, and Janus and Jambres was among them magicians that contended with Moses. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
So if that's in the book of Jasher, what else is in the book of Jasher that we can learn from then? And help us get a better understanding of the scriptures. Jasher is the history from Genesis to Joshua, I believe. And it gives us a lot of details that's left out of the scriptures. He doesn't quite have the same inspiration as the canonized word, but the Bible recommends the book of Jasher, and it is a very spiritual book when you examine it with an open mind. So get to more of the story of Enoch. We're going to start at Jasher chapter 2, verse 37. So we can go learn about Enoch's walk with the Most High and his translation. How was he translated? Go to where it's bookmarked at. So I'll start
Jasher
at 30.
2, verse 37.
Probably sit down and be reading for a while. So.
And Mahalalel, the son of Kenan, lived 65 years, and he brought forth Yared. And Yared lived 162 years, and he brought forth Hanok.
Yeah, Hanok is the Hebrew name for Enoch.
Right.
So starting off with them, the same genealogy that we read in Genesis 4 and 5. There. We know that Enoch is the seventh. This is from Adam. Continue.
And Hanok lived 65 years, and he brought forth Methuselah. And Hanok walked with Elohim after having begotten Methuselah, and he served Yahweh and pleased and despised the evil ways of men.
So was Enoch walked with God and read just like you read in Genesis, and it says that he despised the evil ways of men. Let me bring this passage out. As a man of the Most High, woman of the Most High, we're supposed to despise the evil ways of men. I'm going to bring up Amos chapter 5, verse 15. You hold her there, I'm going to bring this out. So. Amos 5:15. Hate the evil and love the good, and establish judgment in the gate. It may be that the Yahweh Elohim of hosts will be gracious unto the remnant of Joseph. So if you walk in the Most High, you're supposed to hate the evil and love the good. So today we know is a pagan holiday, July 4th, and we hate seeing our brothers and sisters out there that are lost, having cookouts and barbecues and lighting fireworks and getting caught up in these festivities. We want to see our people doing right and keeping these law, statutes, commandments, and keeping the Sabbath and doing what the will is according to the Bible. So hate the evil and love the good, and that's what Enoch did. He despised the evil that was around him. Got anything else to add to that, Brother James?
Yeah, so it's the same with us. It says the fear of the Lord means to hate evil. So that's how we develop a fear of the Lord. That's what it means to fear the Lord, is to hate evil. When it says that in Proverbs 8:13. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil.
Fear of the Lord is to hate evil.
Froward tongue, and the perverse way have I hated, saith saith the Lord.
Khan, all praises. Good precept. I continue in Joshua.
Okay. And the being of Enoch clung to the ways of Yahweh in knowledge and in understanding, and he wisely retired from the sons of men and secreted himself from them for many days.
So he set himself apart from the sons of man then, and secreted himself for many days so he could have a connection with the Most High. So sometimes to build our connection with the Most High, we got to separate ourselves from others that aren't trying to follow the Most High, because they can destroy your connection to the Most High. So that's what Enoch did. He separated himself. Continue.
And it was at the expiration of many days, while he was serving Yahweh and praying before him in his house, that a messenger of Yahweh called to him from the heavens, saying, Enoch, Enoch. And he said, Here am I.
So messenger or angel, Yahweh sent an angel or messenger to Enoch to call him, and he said, Here am I. Now, doesn't that sound familiar? Who else responded like that when they got to calling from the Most High? Can you think of anybody else that said that?
Samuel.
Right, let's pull that up. 1 Samuel chapter
3, 4, 6, and 8.
So it says, 1 Samuel chapter 3, verse 4, that Yahweh called Samuel, and he answered, Here am I. So Samuel had the same answer too when the Lord called him. Here am I. So when the Lord calls you, brother, sister, to serve him, we should respond the same way. Here am I. I'm ready. And it's interesting all the parallels from that the Joshua has with the scriptures. So you can tell that this is a very spiritual book, because that's a lot of parallels that you cannot deny. Continue.
And he said, Rise, go forth from your house, and from the place where you hide yourself, and appear to the sons of men, in order that you may teach them the way in which they should go, and the work which they must accomplish to emulate the ways of Yahweh.
So he taught them how to emulate the ways of Yahweh. So not try to follow his man-made ways, but try to follow Yahweh-made ways.
And Enoch rose up according to the word of Yahweh, and went forth from his house, from his place, and from the chamber in which he was concealed. And he went to the sons of men, and taught them the ways of Yahweh. And at that time he assembled the sons of men, and taught them the instruction of Yahweh. And he ordered it to be proclaimed in all places where the sons of men dwelled, saying, Where is the man who wishes to know the ways of Yahweh and good works? Let him come to Enoch. And all the sons of men then assembled to him, for all who desired this thing went to Enoch. And Enoch reigned over the sons of men, according to the word of Yahweh. And they came and bowed to him, and they heard his word. And the Ruah of Elohim was upon Enoch.
So the spirit of the Most High was upon Enoch.
And he taught all his men the wisdom of Elohim and his ways, and the sons of men served Yahweh. And all the days of Enoch, and they came to hear his wisdom.
All right.
And all the kings of the sons of men, both first and last, together with their princes and judges, came to Enoch when they heard of his wisdom, and they bowed down to him. And they also requested that Enoch reign over them, to which he consented. And they assembled.
All right, so hold it there. So all the kings, rulers, and judges came to Enoch because of his wisdom, and because he was operating on behalf of the Most High, and they also had him to reign over them also then. So we can say from those passages that Enoch was operating as a priest, as a representative of the Most High on the earth at the time. Would you agree?
Yes, he was a
From
king.
what we read.
A king and a priest.
Priest and a king. So he could have been, this is just speculation, I'm not sure for sure. I'm not sure, but he could have been operating under the Melchizedek priesthood then. Because Melchizedek is in order where you're king and priest. But for us divided between Judah and Levi, so he could have been, since he was the ruler of all the kings and the judges and princes, and he was pretty much their priest also, which he was representing the Most High on earth. Continue. Or you got anything else to add to that?
No. It says, and they assembled in all 130 kings and princes, and they made Enoch king over them, and they were all under his power and command. And Enoch taught them wisdom, knowledge, and the ways of Yahweh, and he made peace among them.
He made peace among them. Continue.
And peace was throughout the earth during the life of Enoch.
So when you have a righteous man in rule, there's going to be peace in the earth. And I want to bring this out in Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. So under Enoch's authority, do you think the people rejoiced or were mourning?
They were rejoicing.
They were rejoicing, absolutely, because they had a righteous man over them. In America, being under the Democrats and Republicans, are we rejoicing here or mourning?
We're mourning.
We're mourning. I mean, we just had the protest where they burnt up cities all across the country a couple weeks ago with the George Floyd thing. We got homeless people all over the place, sleeping under bridges or on sidewalks or in the parks, poverty, family problems. So we're under wicked authority here, and that's why it's a waste of time voting, because these people do not serve the Most High, and you can't win whether it's Democrat or Republican. So Enoch was a righteous ruler, and the people prospered under him. And hopefully, and that's like a shadow picture of what's going to be like in the kingdom, where we're back under righteous authority, where everybody's going to be happy and doing well again. Continue.
And these are the generations of Enoch. Methuselah, Elishua, Amalek, 3 sons, and their sisters were Melka and Naamah. And Methuselah lived 100.
Wait, so it says he had a couple sons and daughters then. Pretty much right, that's what we just read there.
Right.
Names of his sons and daughters. And let me pull this out compare with Genesis chapter 5, where it says, Genesis 5:22, and Enoch walked with God. After that he begot Methuselah, like it said, 300 years, and begot sons and daughters. So the account from Jasher gives us a little bit more detail than in Genesis, where gives us the names of the sons and daughters that he had. So I thought that was interesting to bring out there. Continue.
It says, and it was in the 56th year of the life of Lamech when Adam died. He was 930 years old at his death, and his 2 sons with Enoch and Methuselah his son buried him with great glory, as at the burial of kings in the cave which Yahweh had told him.
And it says the same thing in the Bible, Genesis 5:5. And all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. So it's agreeing with the scriptures there.
Right.
So this is pretty sound what we're reading so far. He's just giving us some more details that wasn't included in Genesis. Continue.
And in that place all the sons of men made a great mourning and weeping on account of Adam. It has therefore become a custom among the sons of men to this day. And Adam died because he ate of the tree of knowledge, he and his children after him, as Yahweh had spoken.
Come.
And it was in the year of Adam's death, which was 243rd year of the reign of Enoch. In that time Enoch decided to separate himself from the sons of men, and to hide himself as at first in order to serve Yahweh. And Enoch did so, but did not entirely hide himself from them, but kept away from the sons of men 3 days, and then went to them for 1 day. And during the 3 days that he was in his chamber, he prayed to and praised Yahweh his Elohim. And the day on which he went and appeared to his servants, he taught them the ways of Yahweh, and all they asked him about Elohim, he told them.
So, like Enoch, do we do what Enoch does? Do we take time away from everybody else so we can get our connection with the Most High back on point? Then do we take time from Facebook and get into the book and to rebuild and improve our spiritual connection with the Most High? That's important to do in our lives. And this is Matthew chapter 6, verse 6. He says, "But thou, when thou prayest, enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut the door, pray to thy Father which is in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly." So it's important that we have getaway places too where we can build and improve our connection to the Most High, just like Enoch did. I want to continue.
And he did in this manner for many years, and he afterward concealed himself for 6 days, and appeared to his people one day in 7, and after that once in a month, and then once in a year, until all the kings, princes, and sons of men sought for him, and desired to gain to see his face, to see the face of Enoch, and to hear his word. But they could not, as all the sons of men were greatly afraid of Enoch, and they feared to approach him, because they saw Elohim in his face and upon his countenance. Therefore no man could look at him, fearing he might be punished and die.
Stop it. What does that remind you of that event? They said they could see like Elohim in his face and in his countenance.
Moses coming down from the mountain.
That's right. I knew he was going to get that, so let me bring that out. Exodus 34, verse 35. Exodus 34, verse 35. So it says, "And the children of Israel saw the face of Moses, that the skin of Moses' face shone, and Moses put the veil upon his face again until he went in to speak with them." So Moses was so bright, his face was shining so much that they had to cover his face with a veil because he was glowing so much. So can people see that you're a man of God or a woman of God when they see you? Then can they see that in you, the way you carry yourself, the way you handle your business? Are you letting your light shine before men that they can see your good works? It's important to be a representative of the Most High at all times and let your light shine. And also when the Messiah was at the Mount of Transfiguration, he was glowing too, I believe, in Matthew 17. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Matthew 17. Okay, Matthew 17, verse 1. "And after 6 days, Yahweh shall take of Peter, James, and John, his brother, and bring them up into a high mountain apart, and was transfigured before them. And his face did shine as the sun, and his raiment was white as the light. And behold, there appeared unto them Moses and Elijah talking with them." So this happens from time to time when people have a real spiritual, in a real spiritual situation with the Most High, where their countenance just shines and they're like a light bulb, glowing and beaming. Can I continue?
It says, "Therefore no man could look at him, fearing he might be punished and die. And all the kings and princes resolved to assemble the sons of men, and to come to Enoch, thinking that they might all speak to him at the time when he should come forth among them, and they did so. And the day came when Enoch went forth, and they all assembled and came to him. And Enoch spoke to them the words of the fear of Yahweh, and he taught them wisdom and knowledge, and they bowed down before him, and they said, Let the king live."
So he taught them the fear of Yahweh then, right?
Right.
So I mean, and that's part of minister, teaching the fear of Yahweh. Let's pull up Psalms 111, verse 10. For those that may not be familiar with the fear of Yahweh is. Psalms 111, verse 10.
Psalms 111, verse 10. "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. His praise endureth forever.
So having a good understanding of the fear of the Lord is keeping the commandments. So teaching the fear of Yahweh means you're teaching people how to keep the commandments. And fear means respect. You're teaching people how to respect the Most High by teaching them how to respect His commandments.
Keep reading?
Yeah, you got anything else to add to it?
No.
All right, let's keep going.
At that time Enoch heard this, and he went and assembled all the inhabitants of the earth, and taught them wisdom and knowledge, and gave them chastisement. And he said to them, I have been required to ascend into the heavens. I therefore do not know the day of my departure. And now therefore I will teach you wisdom and knowledge, and will give you chastisement before I leave you, how to act upon earth, by which you may live.
All right, so hold it. So he taught them wisdom, knowledge, and gave them chastisement. Ain't that what the Bible commands us to do?
It does.
I mean, so this totally lines up with scriptures. Let me bring a couple passages out. Leviticus 19:17. So Leviticus 19:17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him. So Enoch was rebuking the sons of men so that he wouldn't suffer sin upon himself. Then, so that's part of ministry. Besides teaching the good things about, you got to give chastisement and rebuke also. Then, have you ever seen Joel Osteen give chastisement and rebuke?
He's always trying to tell you God is love, and it's okay to fall down. And
he's a motivational speaker.
Yeah, I know.
He's not going to tell you the bad. He's going to just tell you all the good stuff you want to hear. Or
right.
Creflo Dollar, he don't give chastisement either unless he don't tithe. Then that's the only thing he'll chastise you for.
Right.
But to be a man of God, you got to let someone know when they're going off, so you won't suffer sin upon. You got to get that blood off your hands. That's part of being a watchman. So Enoch was a watchman, teaching wisdom, knowledge, and chastisement.
Right.
So this totally parallels with the Bible from what I'm reading so far. Would you agree?
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, so let's continue.
And it says here, and he taught them wisdom and knowledge, and gave them chastisement, and he reproved them, and he placed before them statutes and judgments to do on earth. And he made peace among them, and he taught them eternal life.
Well, you taught them what?
And he taught them eternal life.
So this shows that eternal life was taught way before the New Testament then. And it started way back in the time of Enoch. He was teaching people eternal life. And I want to bring this passage out in the Old Testament about eternal life in Job 19:25. I mean, so this is the book of Joshua is a very spiritual book, and it parallels with the Bible. This is not a coincidence. So Job 19:25, this is Job says, "For I know that my Redeemer liveth, and that he shall stand at the latter day upon earth." So he was teaching people that about how the righteous are going to resurrect from the dead, that the Lord is coming to redeem the righteous. And we'll see him at the last days of the earth, those that believe in the Most, have followed the ways of the Most High. So Enoch was teaching the gospel way back then.
Right.
No new thing under the sun. Read that again about he taught eternal life.
And he taught them eternal life, and dwelled with them some time, teaching them all these things. And at that time the sons of men were with Enoch, and Enoch was speaking to them, and they lifted up their eyes, and the likeness of a great horse descended from the heavens, and the horse paced in the air.
So they lifted up their eyes, and they saw a horse or some kind of vehicle just pacing in the air, something that was unusual. Would you say that?
Oh yeah. Same thing with Elijah. Elijah being taken up into the chariot. He said the chariots of the Lord.
Come on, let's keep going.
And then it says here, and they told Enoch what they had seen, and Enoch said to them, On my account does this horse descend upon earth. The time has come that I must go from you, and I shall no more be seen by you. And the horse descended at that time, and stood before Enoch, and all the sons of men that were with Enoch saw him.
So the Most High was so pleased with Enoch that he sent a vehicle for him to get him. And it was in miraculous fashion where just the horse or whatever the vehicle was just pacing back on the earth, something that mankind has never seen before. He's like, Enoch, what's this? What's that? And Enoch's like, hey, that's the ride that the Most High sent for me. Because he had it like that because he pleased the Most High so much. Continue.
And Enoch then again ordered a voice to be proclaimed, saying, Where is the man who delights to know the ways of Yahweh, his Elohim? Let him come today to Enoch before he is taken from us.
Constantly made one last call to come learn about the Most High before I get them translated. And this is your moment to learn about the Most High, because just like us when we're on the highways and byways trying to teach people, tell them, come, let's teach you the Bible, let's teach you your true nationality, that's so-called blacks, so-called Hispanics, and Native Americans are the Israelites. We got to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments, because we're not always going to be here, because the famine of the word is coming. When you read Amos chapter 8, verse 11. So that's what Enoch was putting a call to, saying, I'm not always going to be here, so come and let me teach you before I leave or depart from you.
Right.
Continue.
And all the sons of men assembled and came to Enoch that day, and all the kings of the earth with their princes and counselors remained with him that day. And Enoch taught the sons of men wisdom and knowledge, and gave them chastisement. And he charged them to serve Yahweh and walk in his ways all the days of their lives. And he continued to make peace with them. And it was after this that he rose up and rode upon the horse. And he went forth, and all the sons of men went after him, about 800,000 men, and they went with him one day's journey. And the second day he said to them, Return home to your tents. Why will ye go? Why will ye go? Go lest you die. And
So you're trying to chase them away, like, go ahead and that's it for now, that's it for the show, so go away lest you should die. You're trying to push them away, right?
Right.
Continue.
And some of them went from him, and those remained went with him 6 days' journey. And Enoch said to them every day, Return to your tents lest you die. But they were not willing to return, and they went with him. And on the 6th day some of the men remained and clung to him. And they said to him, We will go with you to the place where you go. As Yahweh lives, only death shall separate us. And they urged so much to go with him that he ceased speaking to them. And they went after him and would not return.
So no matter what Enoch said, they wasn't going to leave, because they knew he was a real man of the Most High, and they was going to follow him to wherever he could cost them their lives. So he just said, forget it, come on.
And when the kings returned, they caused the census to be taken, in order to know the number of remaining men that went with Enoch. And it was on the 7th day that Enoch ascended into the heavens in a whirlwind with horses and chariots of fire. And on the 8th day, all the kings that had been with Enoch sent to bring back the number of men that were with Enoch in that place from which he ascended into the heavens. And all those kings went to the place, and they found the earth there filled with snow, and upon the snow were large stones of snow. And one said to the other, Come, let us break through the snow and see. Perhaps the men that remained with Enoch are dead, and are now under the stones of snow. And they searched, but they could not find him, for he had ascended into the heavens.
Yeah, so all this time without the book of Jasher, we think that the prophet Elijah was the first person to go into the heavens on a chariot of fire and a whirlwind. But according to Jasher, Enoch was the first one. And it's not a coincidence that they both, wasn't translated in the same fashion. Because didn't you always think about that too, that Elijah was the first one, because that's the first one in the canonized book. We read in 2 Kings chapter 2.
Right. Right. He wasn't he was the first one among, then the second was Elijah, right?
Right. But without the book of Joshua, we would not have that information.
Right, exactly.
And also I want to, go into the first part of the next chapter.
And all the days that Enoch lived upon the earth were 365 years.
Just like it says in Genesis.
And when Enoch had ascended into the heavens, all the kings of the earth rose up and took Methuselah his son and anointed him, and they caused him to reign over them in the place of his father. And Methuselah acted uprightly in the eyes of Yahweh, as his father Enoch had taught him. And likewise during the whole of his life he taught the sons of men wisdom, knowledge, and the fear of Yahweh. And he did not turn from the good way, either to the right or to the left.
So he walked that straight and narrow way then.
Right.
And let's stop it right there. So Enoch was translated in glorious fashion up to the heavens to work for the Most High. The Most High gave him a promotion because he was so pleased of his work on earth, and they gave the reins to his son Methuselah.
Right.
Now I want to share with you another witness too, saying similarly what we just read about Enoch's translation, because it's always good to bring multiple witnesses. At the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses shall every matter be established. So we're going to go to the book of Enoch, chapter 70. Where it gives a similar account, not as detailed as Joshua, but it gives a similar account as a bear witness about Enoch's translation. So I'm going to read chapter 70, and it's just a short section.
Enoch chapter 70. And it happened after this time, his name during his lifetime was raised high to the Son of Man, and to the Master of spirits from among those who dwell on the earth. And he was raised high on the chariots of the wind, and his name vanished among them.
Oh, it's like if you start over again, that mic was pretty loud.
And he was raised high on the chariots of the wind, and his name vanished among them. And from that day I was no longer numbered among them. And he set me between the 2 winds, between the north and the west.
In the west, right.
Where the messengers took the cords to measure for me the place for the elect and righteous.
So the messengers did what?
Where the messengers took the cords to measure for me the place for the elect and righteous.
So it's saying pretty much the same thing where Enoch was taking up chariots of wind then in glorious fashion. In the account from Enoch chapter 70. And said it took him to the place measured for the place of the elect and the righteous, which is New Jerusalem. Let me bring out Revelation 21:15. Revelation 21:15, I think it is. It says, and he that talked with me had a golden reed to measure the city, and the gates thereof, and the wall thereof. And the city lieth 4 square, and the length is as large as the breadth. And he measured the city with the reed, 12,000 furlongs. The length and the breadth and the height of it are equal. And he measured the wall thereof 144 cubits, according to the measure of a man, that is of an angel. So we know that the New Jerusalem is for the elect.
Squirrel over there.
Right.
Too much squirrel.
So we just wanted to bring that information out about the translation of Enoch, and hopefully it was an interesting lesson and edifying to you, and hopefully encourage you to think outside the box and explore some of these other books that the Bible suggests us to read and look into. You got anything to add or close?
No.
All right, well, we want to give all praise, glory, and honor to the Most High God, Yahweh, in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. Shabbat Shalom. Blessings and power to the 12 tribes of Israel and the Gentiles that are called by thy name. Shalom.
Shalom.